What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream on the Texas Rangers Report. And this one, we have a lot of rumors, news and rumors to digest as we get closer to the trade deadline. And the Rangers have started to slip off in the standings. However, even though we've started to slip off, we've been connected to many players in the trade rumors. We've been connected to Tarik Skubal, Juan Soto, just to name a few, and knowing the Texas Rangers and John Daniels and um, Chris Young, I feel like there's going to be a sneaky trade that we don't even think about, like Nate Lowe from 2 years ago, Mitch Garver from the previous year. So as we get closer to the trade deadline, are we going to be buyers or are we going to be sellers? I think it's going to be a mixture of both. So we could trade Martin Perez, but most likely he will stay with the team. I think you probably see those guys like Cole Calhoun, Matt Moore, and Garrett Richards probably get shipped off. But the Rangers have repeatedly said that we want to go after the controllable guys. So that could mean anything: pitching, hitting. Juan Soto, you get him for 2.5 years. Yes, the trade package would be insane. Starting with Jack Leiter, would you have to throw in Josh Young? I don't think so. But if you were to extend him, would it be worth it? I think so. I'll break that down. And then, or you could go after Tarik Skubal. You could go of the mindset saying that pitching is the way that you're going to win a championship. There's many ways that we could go and break this down, but let's start off with Tarik Skubal. So there are I would say two pitchers on this trade market that are pretty controllable, and that's Tarik Skubal and Pablo Lopez. So Pablo Lopez is not as controllable as Tarik Skubal, and then Skubal is pretty much in his rookie campaign. I know he had some time last year, and he would be more expensive than Pablo Lopez. And my concern with Lopez, you're going to have to give up a haul with either, but it's not going to be as bad as Juan Soto. But my concern is that I don't think Pablo Lopez is super great. I would say he's a little bit above Martin Perez as far as caliber goes. And so would it be worth it to get him for 2.5 years when you could probably get a similar pitcher in free agency? I don't know. Or you could go after 5 years of Tarik Skubal, but people could be concerned, well, this is his first time that he's actually been good at the major leagues. But yes, because he's a rookie. So some people on the positive end say he could only get better from here, or some some negative people could say, well, I would like somebody with a proven track record. But obviously, the Rangers need pitching. But if you think about it, they need people all over their roster. So whenever people say we don't need to go after Soto, we need to go after pitching, we need help all around. So it's I think that the Rangers are definitely better, but I think since we flirted with 500, it got our hopes up. The front office has always been saying 2023 is the year, and if you were to trade for Soto, that'd be a big haul of prospects. But most prospects don't pan out anyways. And then you go into free agency next year. Let's just say Soto is going to get 35 to 40 million in an extension. So let's just say you need to sign at least 2 to 3 more pitchers. Maybe that comes in a trade or free agency. And then maybe you sign Jose Abreu or Josh Bell. And let's just say you don't give up Josh Young in a trade for Soto. I think you're getting a lot closer. So let me read some of these comments. K Mooney, please God. I don't know if that means trade for Soto. From I'm Heel. After Soto, it would be dumb TBH. Pitching, and I would like Skubal and Lopez if we can somehow make it happen. Mike Garner and Ace. So here's my thought on that. So I think pitching is a little bit easier to develop and acquire than a hitter. So for Juan Soto, let's just sketch up a trade. I think the Nationals have been asking for five prospects, five top prospects. Well, I think the Padres are the front runners, and the Rangers have the prospect depth to make it happen. They also have the money to sign him. Okay, so who will we give up? I think that'd be Jack Leiter, Justin Foscue, Ezekiel Duran. That's three of our top prospects, all top 100s. Throw in Cohen, Sam Huff. I think that's close to a deal. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys love Jack Leiter, but let's just say, what if he's a Jameson Taillon type of pitcher? Not a bad pitcher, but for him being drafted second overall in the MLB draft, that's not the ace that we were expecting. And so would you take Juan Soto's production, who's only a year older, and we already know this guy is a Hall of Fame caliber player. So we take Soto or Jack Leiter, who could be Jameson Taillon pitcher. Like, if he's a Verlander type of pitcher, then will we regret the trade? Maybe, but you still get Soto. And there's other ways to acquire pitchers, and the Rangers have done that every single year. They've always got a veteran pitcher. So if the Rangers owners are willing to spend more money, then I think you could easily get maybe two type of John Gray caliber pitchers next year. And so Ezekiel Duran, I think he needs to work on his launch angle. He's hitting a lot of ground balls right now, and he has a lot of swing and miss in his game, which is worrisome for me. So I would be okay giving up Duran for Foscue. That's easy for me. Let's say Sam Huff, too much swing and miss in his game, and the Nationals need a catcher. But what I'm trying to say is that most prospects don't pan out. And I think a lot of fans, particularly me in general, I used to just love holding on to prospects. And I think they're necessary to build an organization, to get cheap talent, also used for trades. But we overvalue them sometimes. And we know that not all of them are ever going to reach their potential. Just look at Jerickson Profar, Nomar Mazara, Ruben Odor. And that's not just the Rangers. Look at other organizations. It happens all the time. And would you rather just wait it out or maybe jumpstart the rebuild when you have a generational talent who's 23 years old, only 1 year older than Jack Leiter? You have the money to extend him. It's just a matter, does Soto want to get extended? If he doesn't, that's a different story. And then if he doesn't, you probably want to use your prospects to trade for some other person. But I think it's a no-brainer. And honestly, sure, say Duran pans out, Leiter pans out. I don't think their value will ever reach what Soto could. Yes, we still need pitching, but we need everything right now. So why not get one of the best hitters in the game and then address pitching in free agency, because we're not going to make the playoffs this year. That's just where I'm at right now. And then I'll get to your comments, but who else did I say? Oh, I said Foscue. He's not going to play for us. I do think his bat is good, but with Simeon here, we've always thought Foscue was a trade candidate, and then the next person, Cohen's been garbage this year. I still think there is hope with Cohen, but if the Rangers don't think he can rebound, would this be the best time to trade him before he gets worse? From Bryce Grissom, I hope we don't trade for Joey Gallo. Yes, I've been back and forth on a lot of things. So for Juan Soto, at first I was like, yes, let's trade for him. And then I'm like, no, we could lose him in free agency and then we would lose a bunch of prospects. But now I'm like, let's trade for him because most prospects don't pan out, generational talent. And also I think the biggest thing, I think he could attract other free agents. So I've been back and forth on that. I've also been back and forth on Joey Gallo. I at first said, yeah, let's trade for Joey Gallo, bring him back for a cheap prospect. And if he pans out, then we can extend him and it works out. But apparently the Yankees want a good prospect in return for Joey Gallo, and Gallo's been crap this year. Like, who are they expecting to get Ezekiel Duran back? And Gallo has had the worst season of his career. I know the Yankees were probably butthurt since they lost that trade, or it appears so. Like, obviously, Smith, Duran, they may never pan out. We never know. But on paper, it appears right now that the Rangers won that trade. We all know what Gallo can do. But if I'm trading for Gallo, it has to be some rookie ball prospect that has just a lottery prospect. But the thing is, why couldn't you just sign him in free agency next year if you really want him that bad? Don't you think if he gets traded to like the Padres or the Rays or some team that maybe could use him, and he shows a little bit of promise, don't you think that the Joey Gallo would probably want to sign with the Rangers in free agency? That's just my thought. But also, if you were to trade for an outfielder, why not get somebody with team control like Austin Meadows or maybe Alex Verdugo? Both teams have shown that they may sell. So my thought is, if they pan out, awesome, you can use them for your contending teams because Meadows has been an all-star before, or you can use them as trade bait. Because one thing I think we need to learn from the Dodgers and even the Rays is that they're never scared to trade any of their players, or they're never scared to make big signings. That's one thing I've learned. And I think the Rangers need to adopt some of those mindsets. Some from Mike Gardner, Foscue, Garcia, Carter, Huff, or Soto. No way. They are not taking that. First of all, the biggest prospect they're getting is probably Carter, and they said that they want 5 top prospects. They're only getting 2. I wouldn't really consider Huff a prospect anymore, and then Garcia is not really in their timetable. Trying to get to these comments. Oh, here we go. X0 Dawn Wah. Okay. From I'm Heel. Catcher, Jonah Heim. First base, Nate Lowe. Second base, Marcus Semien. Shortstop, Corey Seager. Third base, Young / Duran. Left field, Smith. Center field, Taveras. Right field, Garcia. DH Garver. Our offense is good. It's just pitching. That's where I disagree with you. So I would say Smith and Duran have not been good this year. I think they have prospect status, which we hope they're going to be good because they've been good in the minors. But don't let that fool you. They haven't been good this year, and Taveras has been good, but some of his batted ball stats has shown that he probably will regress. Same with Jonah Heim. Nate Lowe is an average bat. Same with Adolis Garcia. So I really don't think that's that great of a lineup. And we can't really fool ourselves either to think that that's an amazing lineup either. Obviously, our best hitter is Corey Seager, and that really needs help. And how can we think all we're adding is really Josh Young? That's basically the same lineup that we have this year. How can we really expect anything to change? And yes, I know that we've been a little unlucky in those one-run games, but still, we would still be maybe 5 to 7 games above 500. No way we're going to compete with the Astros. We still need to get better in all phases of our team. And yes, you could say Garver would be better if he wasn't hurt. Yeah, or maybe not. So it's tough, but I think it's easier to accept the fate of the team, saying we just need to get better everywhere instead of just being in denial. I'm not saying that you are a heel. I just think it's easier that way to say, oh, yeah, we need to get better there. We need to get better there. Just never get complacent with the team. Let's see. A lot of runs a game, but our pitching never holds up. I wouldn't really say that's true. So I say we score a lot of runs. Like one game, like we may score 12 runs, and then the pitching lets up 8 runs. And then we may score like 2 runs, and the pitching lets up like 3 or 4. So like whenever the bats are hot, the pitching lets up a lot. And then whenever the pitching is decent, I'm not saying amazing, the bats are quiet. So that's why I think the run differential is pretty solid. If you guys are familiar, that's how the Dallas Cowboys team was for the past 2 to 3 years. They'd always have like the top offense in the league, but that's because they would like beat up on garbage team like the Redskins and the Giants. They score like 40 to 50 points, and then they'd go against like the Buccaneers or some team that's good, and they would score like 14. So yeah, you have the top offense, but it's because you're getting bloated stats. So I don't think the runs really mean that much when it's not consistent. From Trey Gwynn, I think sorry if I said that wrong. More concerned with trading for Soto, but he won't stay in Texas with an extension. Yes, and the only reason I would trade for Soto, because yes, I said it'd be like Leiter and Duran, maybe Smith, definitely Foscue, probably Huff, and maybe Carter. It's going to be a haul, and we just got to accept that. But the only way I'm doing that is if we know we can get an extension. Because, yes, I said prospects, a lot of them don't pan out. But I'm not just going to throw away the prospects for 2 years of Soto and then he walks in free agency, because then you're left with nothing. So you have to know that you can extend him, just like the Mets did with Francisco Lindor. I think that'd be the best case scenario. And I think the Rangers could, because they've shown that they want to win. They've given out big deals to Seager and Simeon. I think that shows a good sign to just the baseball industry, but also players in general. From I'm Heel, our depth chart, and that's just this year. Oh, how look? I don't know what you mean. From Mike Garner, Huff, Win, Carter for Skubal. Huff, Win, Carter. That actually might get close. We can't deny that Huff doesn't have the same value anymore. He was our second prospect in the organization. He doesn't have that value anymore. Colwyn has a down year, but I think Evan Carter is a rising stud in the organization. I think that'd be close. You'd probably have to throw in Foscue. Or maybe a lower end prospect, but I think that's definitely not a bad trade. And 5 years of Skubal, I would definitely do that. But look, I'm curious what the Tigers would actually want. Nathan Kohler, what's up, my guy? How are you doing? I'm excited for the trade deadline. Yep. And how are you doing, Nathan? Mike Garner, Bradford for Gallo. I mean, sure, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to be complaining, but sorry, I got a weird DM. So I wouldn't be complaining if we got Gallo for Bradford, because, I mean, Bradford probably just going to be a reliever. But like I said, I think there's better options on the table. I said Austin Meadows. I said, what's his name from the Red Sox? Alex Verdugo. Another option that would actually cost a decent amount is Christian Walker, their first baseman from the Diamondbacks. He has had a solid year. 24 home runs. I don't know if you guys know what WOBA is. He's had like a 330 WOBA. It's weighted on base average. That's the stat that I look for when evaluating players. It's a lot better than batting average. It's a lot better than on base percentage. And then his expected WOBA is 360. That's top 20 in the league. And not hardly anybody knows him because he's an older guy, but also he plays for the Diamondbacks. And he has 2 more years of team control. And he's an elite glove as well. I think that could be an under-the-radar trade. I don't know what his trade cost would be, but I think it's a lot of options on the table. I think Soto would be awesome because that sets you up next year for. I think that take you off the board for Judge, but you could say, okay, we could go for Bell. We could go for a guy like Sharmanaya, maybe Mike Clevenger, Noah Syndergaard. I think that opens so many things. But also you could have alternatives like Pablo Lopez, who I think would cost probably Leody Taveras or Adolis Garcia, because they want a center fielder that's major league ready. And so let's just say Leody Taveras. I would trade Leody, Sam Huff, and probably Justin Bosque if he's not in the trade for Juan Soto. And then if you don't get Soto, maybe you go for Skubal and Pablo Lopez, because that would set you up with a decent rotation next year. But also maybe think about also trading Martin Perez, because I think no matter what's going to happen, you're going to end up with a little bit of a depleted farm system, because one, you're going to trade for Soto, or you're going to trade for at least 2 starting pitchers that's going to help you this year and many years to come. So Perez is going to be a free agent after this season. Why not trade him for some prospects? It's not going to be insane. Yes, I know the Rangers want to extend him, and he wants to stay in Texas, but couldn't you do something similar to what the Yankees did for Aroldis Chapman, where you trade him? We know we're not going to make the playoffs. Let's just put that into reality. We're not going to make the playoffs. Trade him for a prospect. Maybe it's somebody that eats some innings this year. A middle prospect is still somebody that gives you value. Whereas if you were to extend him, you would just have Perez. Or you could say, let's trade him for, I don't know, a similar prospect to like Blaine Krim, okay? So we get like a Blaine Krim type prospect, and we re-sign Perez next year. That's just more assets into the organization. I think that has to be an option that they consider. I know that's not popular with the Rangers fan base, but we'd only be missing Perez for 2 years, and you could just re-sign him in free agency because he wants to stay in Texas. I don't know what you guys think, but let me know in the comment section below. From I'm Heel, a $5 Taco Bell box for Gallo. Take it or leave it. Leave it. I don't know. Leave it. Do you think the Rangers will actually get Soto? From what I've heard, it's either the Padres or the Rangers. And I think that the Rangers have the better farm system. They also have more money because the Padres are in the luxury tax, I believe, or super close. So this doesn't mean the Padres are going to trade Tatis. That would be crazy. I don't think that's the route they're going to plan on going. They definitely have to trade Luis Campusano, Robert Hassel, Wood, that outfield prospect, CJ Abrams. I don't know who the other guy would be, but also I don't know how they would afford that. Would it be Clevenger or Blake Snell? I don't know. But I do think the Rangers definitely have a shot. Did we ever think we're going to have a shot for Corey Seager? No. Or Simeon? No. And we got those guys. So nothing's out of the question. Bullpen specifically, I don't know. I think Yuri Rodriguez could be a nice bullpen option. Maybe AJ Alexi, Kyle Cody just got back from the injured list. I don't know if you remember, but in 2020 he was pretty solid. We'll see. Chase Lee may be a decent option, but also you can always find guys in free agency. And if we're trying to compete, we could look at free agency, which we haven't done in a while, or you could always find guys in trades or on the waiver wire. I think the bullpen is a thing that you could ease. I don't think it's too hard to get a good bullpen, but also it's just kind of a coin flip with a bullpen as well. From JP Perez. What's up, JP? Leiter, Duran, Taveras, Wynn, Foscue, and we get a Hall of Famer back. I mean, why not? If you're the Rangers, and let's just be realistic. Leiter will probably pan out. Doesn't mean he'll be an ace. Let's just say Duran, Wynn might bust, Foscue might bust, Taveras might bust, and Duran might be a decent player. None of those guys are Hall of Famers. We're getting a 23-year-old who's going to be a Hall of Famer. Yes, there could be an injury. Yes, he could slow down a little bit, but nobody in that trade will ever equal the value of Juan Soto. And I know some of you guys were saying, why don't we just go after Aaron Judge next year? We don't have to give up any prospects. Well, first of all, yeah, we don't have to give up any prospects, but Judge is like 7 years older and he's more injury prone. I would go after Soto. Yes, Soto isn't a good fielder, but I think something has to be said for been there, done that. Soto, 19, wins a World Series, 19 years old. Do you know how that could help the Rangers? 19 wins a World Series. We need people that have been there, done that. Corey Seager, been there, done that. Juan Soto, been there, done that. That's why I think Chris Webber needs to go. Yes, he was with the Dodgers, but I don't want a rookie manager in the playoffs not knowing what he's doing. He's already a stupid manager as it is. I want somebody that's been there, done that. Soto's been there, done that. I like yeah, Tavares could be a Gold Glover. Leiter could be an ace. I don't know. He's pretty garbage, right? Well, he's not garbage. He's having a bad season. He could turn it around. Will that ever equal the value of Soto? I don't think so. And we've always found guys to pitch for us. It's just we've always had like one or two guys. So maybe if we go after more John Gray type pitchers in a year, maybe we go after 2 or 3, then our rotation will probably be fine. If we could say we went after, so we've always found pitchers. We found Mike Minor, we found Lance Lynn, we found Kyle Gibson, we found Perez, we found what's his name? John Gray, who was throwing like an ace. John Gray was throwing like an ace yesterday. And we just replaced, or not replaced, we added some pitchers in the draft a week ago. Kumar Rocker, Brock Porter. And if the Rangers really want to turn their organization into a perennial dynasty, you need to be okay to trade prospects. Dodgers do it every year. Yankees do it every year. And they just replenish. So I don't know if Soto would be awesome. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I really want him. And I guess I've been back and forth, but 19 years old, wins a World Series. Crazy. Nathan Kohler, when do you think Young gets the call? First of all, he needs to get healthy. He's just started DHing at the Arizona complex. But if he's not traded, which if we do trade for Soto, he's the one guy I don't want him to trade. Josh Young is the one guy I don't want him to trade. I think he could play third base for you, and I think he could be an all-star. But I think he could play next year if healthy. From I'm Heel. Well, a lot of our players are prospects you got to let develop. I feel like we've been letting them develop for like 5 years now. I know that's not like the case, but like I think our team has been going through this cycle. Like we let the players develop. Oh, they didn't pan out. So we have a few good players and we'll train for more prospects. We let them develop. Oh, they don't pan out. And we just go through that cycle. We've been through that cycle for the past 5 to 6 years, and I'm done with that. I kind of want to change my philosophy, and I'd rather just go for this. Imagine if this is the economy. Would you rather go for the stocks, which are high? What's the word that may go to zero, or would you go for the stock, which is the Tesla or the Apple or the Microsoft? Everybody would probably 95% would go for the Apple or the Microsoft because over a long time, those are going to go up. The prospects may be the next Bitcoin, may be the next like Tesla, and they may shoot up like crazy, but a lot of them will go to zero. So the question is, should we keep on going through the cycle of drafting, seeing some bust, trading, letting them develop for 2-3 years, and then they most of them bust. And then if you get some that pan out, you trade them for prospects again because you just don't have a competing team. I don't think that's what we should do. I think we need to change our philosophy. From Bryce Grissom, I feel like our bullpen looks bad all the time because our back and the starters can only make it 5 innings. I've been saying that this for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Um, One, yes, our bullpen isn't amazing, but think about this. How long have we had to have bullpen games? Um, for at least a month now, which is pathetic. Um, so you get tired with the bullpen game because Dane Dunning's been hurt a bit. So your bullpen is pitching the entire 9 innings, and then you go 2 more days where Spencer Howard's garbage. So he goes like 3 innings. So you have to pitch 5 innings. That sounds about right. And then Otto, he's a weird pitcher. He's super lucky. I'll just say that. But he can go like 5-ish, and if he goes 6, you're getting lucky. But you go 5, then the bullpen has to pitch 9, 4, that's 13, and 5, 18. Bullpen has to pitch 18 innings in the span of 3 days, and they've been doing that for roughly a month. Yes, I do think we have some pieces like Hernandez is looking good. I thought Santana was looking awesome at the beginning of the season, and he's fallen off. Bush is looking good. Is not elite. Some guys haven't been good. I do think we need upgrades in the bullpen, but if we got some good starters, or not even just starters that could go 6 innings, I think that would help out tremendously. From Nathan Kohler, doing great. How about you? Doing as good as I can. Having fun, just making videos, watching the Rangers, and hopefully we can just become a dynasty, Not even just win World Series all the time, because that's not going to happen. The Dodgers have only won one in a few years. I don't know. I know they won a while, but just be a consistently good team. That'd be awesome. The Yankees haven't been below 500 since 1992, and the Dodgers have been to the playoffs 9 years in a row, and they haven't been a bad team since 2005. That's crazy. So that shows it's not a fluke. There's a reason to madness to the method, or some metaphor. And the Rangers, those are two big market teams. The Rangers are a big market, and the owners have said we're willing to spend. Yankees and the Dodgers always have, so they're willing to spend. They're in a big market, so that's similar to the Yankees and the Dodgers, but they also have good farm systems every single year. I think the Rangers have shown that they can produce a good farm system every single year with guys coming out of left and right like Harris, Owen White. Like in a year's time, he's gone from unranked to a top 6. Who else? Everybody else is kind of a big caliber prospect, but I think that the Rangers should be making strides for sure. Samuel Sandai, I want Gallo back and either Lopez or Castillo. Man, Samuel Sandai, you want Castillo so bad. So I just don't think Castillo makes sense. Lopez does. You get 2.5 years of control. Gallo would be awesome. The fans love him. He likes it in Texas. Although you trade for him, say you give up Blaine Crim, first baseman from Frisco, and Gallo does good, then you're gonna have to give him the bag. Not the bag, maybe like 5 to 8 mil. I don't know. The market's gonna be weird. But also Gallo seems like a regular season guy to me. And if he can't handle the pressure in New York with the short porch, what do you think he can handle the pressure in the playoffs? Don't we want to be a playoff team that wins World Series? Yes, he's been a 2-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover. I think he would succeed probably in Texas again, probably in Pittsburgh, probably in KC, or probably in Cincinnati. But if he can't succeed in the bright lights, what makes me think that he would help us win a World Series, a playoff series, etc.? I mean, yes, there's been similar people like Sonny Gray didn't do well in New York, does well in Cincinnati and Minnesota. But I don't know. I'm the biggest fan of Joey Gallo. I want to see him succeed. But does it really make sense to trade for him? No, he's just going to be a free agent after the year. And he's shown a lot of struggle this year as well. So most likely you're probably not going to extend him. He only has 2 months to prove himself. And that's basically just playing another shortened 2020 season. And you can tell that you can't really get much from that. So I would just sign him in free agency if you really want him to, like a really cheap deal. He still has value on defense. But we'll see. I think it might just be better if the Rangers go their separate ways. Find other people to go after. Leody Taveras is the next Starling Marte. Do you agree? Maybe. Probably not. That's a tough one. Obviously, Taveras, great speed, great glove. I do think Taveras has been a little lucky at the big league so far. He's probably not the next Marte, if we're being honest. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. From Mike Garner, Soto extension 12 years for $500 million. Interesting. That'd be a lot of money. Or what if you give Soto? So say you trade for him, you're probably gonna use those 2 years of team control before you extend Soto. And then he'll be 25. What if you give him a 5-year extension worth, let's see, $250 million? How much is that a year? 250 million. I think that's roughly $25 million a year, or maybe, yeah, $25 million a year. And then after that 5 years, when he's 30, he can still get the bag again. So he could ask for probably a $300 million contract, like almost every stud free agent does. So say he gets the $250 million. I'm just spitballing here, and then he goes after the $300 million, like Harper has done, and almost every other player has done. Or say he goes 4 years, so he's a little bit younger, 29. So he'll definitely get that $300 million, and then he gets that bag. So that would be roughly like $550 million. So more than, like, he was asking for $500 million. So if you go that route, he definitely gets more than that, and that's more money than what the Nationals were giving him. So that could be a route to take, and not everybody can take that route because usually players don't hit free agency that young. But it could be a route to think about, and that's what a lot of the players in the NFL are trying to do now, is to try to hit free agency twice. From Trey Gwynn, Taveras, Garcia, Owen White, Josh Young, Wynn for Soto and Corbin. So Taveras, Garcia, Owen White, Young, Wynn. Let's see. That is 3 top prospects. That probably still wouldn't get a deal done. That'd be close, I think. I think it'd be close. But you'd probably need at least 2 more prospects. I don't know if Garcia makes that much sense for the Nationals. I mean, theoretically, you could throw him in the deal, and then they could flip him for more prospects later, because it seems like he's a consistent player. He's going to be maybe a 3 WAR player every single season, but eventually that's going to drop off because he's already 29. But I think that's not the route they want to take. But it could happen. I'm not counting it out. From I'm Heel. Question is, do you think the Rangers could resign Soto for the long term? I don't think it's worth the gamble personally. Like I said, yeah, I think they could. Um, we have great facilities. We've shown we want to win by giving those extensions to, or not extensions, but signing Seager and Simeon. So, and we have the money. I think the only reason he'd probably want to go to free agency is just so he could test the market and get the most money as possible. But if you give him the most money already and kind of predict what the market will do, why wouldn't he sign? Why wouldn't he sign? And if you show you want to win, like nobody wants to be on a losing team unless you're just getting paid. And usually that's the older players that just want to get the bag on an older team like Brian and Nelson Cruz. I think we could. Like, if he got traded to the Pirates or something, which won't happen. He's probably not. He's not. He won't sign an extension. But I think we could do it because we have the money. But if you were to go to the Dodgers, that would make things interesting because they don't really have the money. And same with the Padres. Like they would have to construct their team a lot differently if they wanted to give an extension to what's his name, Juan Soto, for Mike Garner. Perez and Howard for Clark Schmidt. Probably not. I don't think that makes too much sense for the Yankees. One, what are they going to do with Howard? He is garbage. I think Howard makes more sense for a rebuilding club like the Royals, the Pirates, the Reds, Tigers, blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't provide no value to the Yankees, but also Perez would. He's never hurts to have too much starting pitching. But also, I think Clark Schmidt, like I know who he is, I think he's providing good value out of their bullpen right now. So I don't think that would make too much sense. I think if Perez were to get traded, I don't think it's likely, but never rule out the possibility of a team overpaying. I would look at the Twins, the Cardinals, and the Blue Jays. From Nathan Kohler. True. Yes. Samuel Sandai, TK Roby, Bubba Thompson, Ricky Vanasco, and Foscue for Castillo. My problem with Castillo doesn't fit the timetable. Yeah, you can argue he's an ace. Well, also, that deal probably wouldn't happen. Like, Roby, I don't really see him being an impactful player. The only impactful player is probably Justin Foscue. Yeah, Bubba Thompson has having a decent season in AAA, but I don't think that translates to the big leagues. Vanasco's probably just a reliever. So I don't think that helped the Reds at all. But I think the Rangers would want a more controllable pitcher like Lopez, like Skubal, or like maybe Aaron Savali or Zach Plezak. I know that the Astros have said that they're willing to listen to offers on their controllable players, but there's no way we're making a deal with the Astros. There's no way they're making a deal with us. The only way we'd probably have gone for Castillo is if we were closer to the 500, like maybe similar record as the Mariners, and I think that would make more sense. I mean, there is hope for this team. Like, with the way we've lost the one-run games, has never happened before. We've been so bad in one-run games that if we were just a little bit better, our record would be so much better. So there is definitely hope. And with the we flirted with 500 this year. That's good. We could get on a win streak, and we have a farm system. Doesn't mean all the prospects can pan out, but you can use those prospects for trades, and we have money to spend. So I think things are definitely looking up, and I think we all know that. From JP Perez, go after Kershaw and Noah Syndergaard in offseason. Resign Perez, use Dunning as a number 5 until Rocker is ready. Put Hernan Howard in the bullpen. I don't like that too much. I can't trust Kershaw anymore. Whenever he's healthy, he's an ace. But I can't trust him to stay healthy to give me even 120 innings. Syndergaard, I like that. But I only like it if you have good depth in the rotation. So say you have a decent 5 starters and you'll be like, okay, we could go sign Syndergaard for maybe 10, 12 mil. And if it pans out, awesome. He could be an ace. If not, we still have our depth, and that's fine. I wouldn't sign him and be like, okay, we're good. I can see re-signing Perez. I don't think he'd be that expensive, and he likes being in Texas. I think they like him. And he's shown he's kind of revamped his stuff, and I think it can last. But we will see. I think Hearn could be good in the bullpen. We'll see what he does in AAA. I don't know. Howard just doesn't have command. He has the stuff. I think he should just be off the team. Maybe use whatever trade value he has. I know it's low. He probably still has a little bit because he can still eat some innings. It was a top 100 2 years ago, so it has a little bit. But if he's bad for one more season, I don't think there's any. So maybe use whatever trade value he has left and get, I don't know, Brad Keller. Samuel Sandite. Noah Syndergaard would be another great bargain for the Rangers. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I don't want Kershaw. I can't trust him, and he would be expensive. But I think Syndergaard could be another great story for the Rangers, another good turnaround story. Like I said, you would need to have a solid rotation. So let's just say Gray, Perez, Dunning. Let's say you trade for Brad Keller, so he has control for next year, and then you sign Jameson Taillon. I'm just throwing out a name. So you kind of have 5 starters right there. I'd be okay to sign Noah Syndergaard. Yes, I know we have 5 starters and you can only have 5 people in the rotation. If you want to be a good contender, you need 7 to 9 starters, 7 to 8. What do you expect? Those 5 stars to stay healthy all year? That's not going to happen. Look at the Dodgers. Look at the Yankees. Severino's gotten hurt. Dodgers last year signed Trevor Bauer, or maybe it was 2 years ago, and he beats up a girl. We don't know if it's true. We don't know if it's false. But still, he pitched like 20 games, 15 games. Thought he was going to be their 3rd, 4th ace in the rotation. Walker Buehler's been hurt. So we need to explore all avenues for sure. And I think he could be another great story for the Rangers. If he's healthy. I know what's his name? Noah Syndergaard, his fastball velo is down. I don't know if that's too much of a concern. But free agents, I'm definitely interested for the pitching market. Sean Manaea, Jameson Taillon, Mike Clevenger. Those are 3 that I'm definitely interested in. But this is going to be interesting. I would definitely want Soto. I don't know what you guys think. It would definitely require some prospects, but the way this season is going, we'll probably have another top 14 pick in the draft. So that's probably something similar to Josh Young level. And say you trade Perez, then you get, I don't know, two top prospects, and we have 6 top 100s right now. So maybe the draft pick and trade for Perez probably wouldn't be top 100s, but they'd be borderline. But it's just always good to have the farm system is like having extra cash on hand. You may never use it, but it's always good to have for trades and just to use at the big league club. So let me know, who is the trade you want to see happen? Is it Juan Soto, Pablo Lopez, Tarik Skubal? The thing with Skubal, I don't think he's actually I don't think he's really going to get traded. I think somebody would have to really overpay for him, and I don't know if that'd be great for the Rangers. Yes, they need pitching help, but I don't know if it's really good to overpay for somebody. Maybe you just go for Pablo Lopez, but Max Myers just went down with Tommy John surgery, so maybe the Marlins aren't as ready to give up Pablo Lopez yet, even though they were saying they would listen to offers. But listening to offers and um, actually pulling the trigger is two different things. Um, it's crazy how their pitching depth has gotten really thin because Sixto Sanchez has been hurt for 2 years. Eliezer Hernandez has been garbage. Max Meyer went down with Tommy John. And some other thing. Trevor Rogers has been bad. So that's like 4 pitchers. And I think I'm missing one or two more other guys. I think Brad Keller, we should look at him. Not going to cost a lot on a team that will he'll probably get traded from. Not amazing either, but will eat some innings, help the bullpen, and I think it's really important. Yes, Skubal would be awesome. Lopez, cool. Soto would be amazing. But I think it's important finish the season on a strong note. Yes, we aren't going to make the playoffs. I really don't care what draft pick we're going to get because you can find players at any pick. The important thing is finish the season on a strong note so your players have confidence going into next year, but also it shows the league and the players you're going to be contending and you're not really somebody to mess around with. And people would want to come to your team. That's coaches. That's players. Because coaches are just as important as players. I think maybe you hired Kevin Cash from the Rays. I don't think the Rays will ever really give him a big deal. You pay him a little bit more. Chris Woodward gone, Kevin Cash in. He's been to the World Series. I want him. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other really names that would make too much sense. I don't think Castillo makes that much sense. I don't think Montes makes sense. Tyler Mahle might make some sense. I think in the winter, whenever the Rangers were connected to the Reds, I think he was the name that they were really thinking of. And he looks like somebody you could actually extend. I know that sounds weird, but I just feel like he's not too popular where like he would get the bag in free agency. So Tyler Mahle might make some sense for the Rangers. Who else? There's not really any good bats. They're controllable. I know Benintendi just got traded. That's whatever. He's not amazing, in my opinion. The only one that's really controllable, like there's Josh Bell, but he's on a 1-year deal. So that's just like Gallo that'd be gone in free agency. The only one is Ian Happ. And I'm pretty sure he was an all-star this year. He's having a good year with the Cubs. Would that one make sense either? I don't know. I really don't know what this price would be. He would play left field or right field. A decent glove. Probably would. He's better than Calhoun. Calhoun, let's face it, Calhoun's had that 1 month. That's it. He'd be better than him. But the question is, who would you give up? And would it really make sense? Because obviously we're going to try to compete in 2023, but do we think we can win a World Series in 2023? I don't think so. That's probably in the later years. So hopefully we hopefully make the playoffs next year. Well, we're probably not going to win a World Series, and then he'll be gone after that year. So I don't think that makes too much sense either. So maybe we look at Soto, we look at Skubal, look at Pablo Lopez, Mahle might make some sense. What about Sean Murphy? That might make. I know that sounds weird since we have Heim, but a bat is a bat, and Murphy's controllable for 2-3 more years, and you need good catchers all the time. Maybe look at Sean Murphy. I don't know. I'm just throwing things on my butt right now. I don't know. if you have any more comments, put them down below. Gonna log off. My phone's about to die. It's been fun. Definitely gonna keep you guys posted as we get closer to the trade deadline. But those are the 5 guys I'm gonna be looking at: Sean Murphy, Juan Soto, Tarik Skubal, Pablo Lopez, Sean Murphy, Tyler Maley. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Thank you for everybody that's watched this live stream. I appreciate it so much. If you haven't already joined the Discord, that link is in the description. It's at the very bottom. And if you haven't, make sure to like, because that helps the algorithm and it helps grow the channel, and subscribe. And if there's no more comments, I'll log on. I'll stay on for like 1 more minute. But that's it. I appreciate it, but I'll stay on for 1 more minute. I appreciate it, guys. All right. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.